Well, hey there. I wanted to try something new today. You see, I am not sitting in the office. I'm actually sitting by the pool. We just finished up family dinner. We are on vacation, and usually during this 365-day challenge, when I'm going on vacation, I pre-film some videos and I set them up and then I edit them and drop them while I am out of town. It's been a little bit busy. I didn't get a chance to do that this time, so I thought, what could we do? Maybe we could do something unique and creative, and many times that leads to things that we end up doing later. So this could be a very, very good thing. But here's what I thought. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about mindset, mental toughness, the way we think, and I feel like there's something we could learn there. So there's a conversation that you and I could have around that. And then I saw this book sitting on my shelf that I probably read 4 or 5 years ago, How Successful People Think. It's simple, it's small, but it is powerful. It's by John Maxwell. You can order on Amazon. You can get it at local box stores. Very easy book to get. But I wanted to revisit this book. I know it has 12, 11, 10, 11 chapters. So you had in the introduction, that's 12 days. I thought while I'm here, while I'm reading on vacation, I always bring a few books on vacation. While I'm reading, you and I could discuss a few thoughts on the way we think. So each morning I get up, I'll read. Got up this morning, read this part, jotted down a couple notes, made me think of, share them with you, and together we'll grow our thinking. All right, 2 things about how successful people think. Number 1, the battle is won and lost in the 6 inches between our ears. You know, every day it's said that we have a majority of negative thoughts. We've got to get good at thinking positive. We got to get good at reflecting on our thoughts, thinking about what we think about through self-reflection. Take those thoughts and go, okay, is that healthy? Is that helpful? And then we've got to be intentional about changing the way we think. One of the things I say often is you got to be aware before you can be intentional. It's so true here in the way that we think. We got to be aware of our thought life because the battle is won right here. And there's benefits to creating space for thinking. There are benefits to taking inventory on our thought life and making the correction and changes that we need to make. There are benefits in each of those because that's how we're going to get to the next level. We're going to get to the next level by actually thinking about what we're thinking about and then taking those ideas, those insights, and turning them into action, which is a lot about what we're going to talk about in the introduction. So 3 questions I wrote down here. The first is, what ways are you collecting new ideas? What ways are you collecting new ideas? Right as we move into the introduction here, it says, how do you become a better thinker? Expose yourself to good inputs. So I wrote in the margin, your inputs determine your outputs. It's so important what podcast you're listening to, what book you're reading, what course you're taking, or what I was going to say CDs that you listen to. You're probably not listening to CDs. You're probably listening to like an MP3 download, or might even be more advanced. That what TikTok you're watching. I don't know. Whatever your inputs are, and there are healthy inputs, and then there are time-wasting inputs. But here he says good inputs. What good inputs are you putting in? Because that's what you're going to pour out to the people who are around you. So I think it's very important for us to assess what ways right now are we taking in inputs. Are we going through the week just to be entertained? Are we going through the week just to get through the week? Or do we have good inputs that we're putting in on a regular basis? First question, very important thing about what ways are you collecting new ideas? Second question that came to light in this introduction is, where are you putting those ideas? Where are you putting those ideas? I wrote on the 2nd page here in the introduction, 3rd page here in the introduction, that you've got to record and review your thoughts on these ideas. You've got to find a place to store them and record and review your thoughts on these ideas. Let me give you mine. We've got an emergency vehicle coming through. Just let them get past. Oh wait, it's not super loud. All right, I use an app called Notion on my devices, and Notion syncs across all my iOS devices, and it's like my second brain. When I'm, an example, coming down here, I was listening to a podcast, and we had about a 6-hour trip today. I'm listening to a podcast, and I go, oh, great idea. So I voice text that idea to myself, and then once I got here, I put it into my Notion. That way later on, I can review that idea just by searching a keyword. So what ways are you collecting ideas? Where are you putting ideas? And then the third question is, how are you taking action on the ideas? How are you taking action on the ideas? Here in the introduction, John Maxwell says, ideas have a short shelf life. You must act on them before the expiration date. Remember, the best laid plans in your head are that. They are in your head. So you got to get them out. You got to do that by taking action. So I want you to take a minute, and I want you to think about your current inputs. Where are you getting the ideas? How are you storing the ideas? And right now, are you taking action on the ideas? 3 very important questions. All right, to wrap up this video, do you need the book? No. I don't think you have to have the book. It is not expensive. It is very short, so I recommend getting the book. I'll leave you with something that John Maxwell says in the book. It's one of my favorite Bible verses. It's actually Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron. That's the point of this series together. I want you to get better. I want you to go further. And I want you to think the way successful people think. I'll see you tomorrow.